Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. Can someone confirm if they can hear my voice okay? Can anyone?
Yeah, you're able to hear.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for joining the call, and we're going to mute everyone. So if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to send us those questions over chat, and we will respond.
Presentation mode is now disabled. Presentation mode is now enabled.
Okay, so in today's webinar, we will talk about our new release, Big Data Management 10.2.1, which is our Spring 2018 release. So we will talk about what are we doing in this release, high-level features and functionality which you will get out of this release. And then there is a very important section about upgrade. So we will talk about how you can plan to upgrade your environment to 10.2.1. We'll do a quick demo, and then for the rest of the time we can spend on Q&A. So a quick recap of Big Data Management. I know most of you may be familiar with Big Data Management, but just a recap on what this product is. So we have launched this Big Data Management product 5 years back, which is basically helping our customers to run their data management job on Hadoop. So we provide all the inbuilt functionalities where they can take any kind of transformation connectors and parsers, which you have been using in Power Center world. So all of those things can now be available on Hadoop. And we do provide this product in different distributions. So no matter whether you are using Cloudera or Hortonworks or any kind of cloud distribution, you should be able to use our product for that. And this is definitely available in different engines as well as for both on-prem and cloud. So, and this is our release cadence. So we will talk a lot on our release cadence even in our upcoming slides as well, because we wanted to make sure that you understand how we are releasing our product and how you should even plan for your upgrade. So just a recap of our previous release. So 10.2 was released sometime in September, and then our 10.2.1, which is our new spring release, is coming up in the middle of May. So what I'm going to talk today is I'm going to give you a quick update on 10.2.1, the release which is our spring release, and the things we are doing in this particular release. Okay, so before we start, the big highlight of 10.2.1 is that this is a big data only release. So this is a very important slide. You should, I'll take a moment to explain it again, that in this release, so this release is only available for any kind of big data products only. So if you are a Power Center customer or a IDQ or Informatica Data Quality customer, then you should not upgrade to this release. And we will, even our installer will restrict you to upgrade. And this release is only available for our big data products, which includes Big Data Management, our streaming product, our catalog product. So anything which is in the big data family, this release is only available for big data products only. And we will talk more about why we have done this and how you should, whether you should plan for upgrade, etc., in our upcoming slide as well. And for more details, you can always refer to these FAQ sections as well as this H2L, which we have written, and this is already available in the community site. So, and then in the installer, also as I mentioned, that we are able to restrict while you upgrade to 10.2.1, we will be able to, if you are trying to install 10.2.1, there is a big disclaimer even in our installer itself that this is a big data product only release. So if you are using Power Center functionality, then it will not even allow you to start doing any kind of installation as well. So this is a big message which we wanted to bring in this webinar about this 10.2.1 release. Okay, so now let's talk about the PAM, like what are we doing, our product availability metrics, like what are our different versions we are able to support in this. I think there is some question in the chat that they cannot hear my voice. Are you guys able to do that? Okay, so I think if people are able to hear my voice, I see in the chat window. So let me just continue. So in terms of the PAM support or our product availability matrix support, we are supporting all of the major distributions. So you can see some of the versions of Cloudera, Hortonworks, Mappa, which we will support. So as you see, in most of the distribution, we are very current. And there are two things to highlight. Is one is we have added Cloudera Alter support, which is a new thing which we have done, which is not available in our previous releases. So we can now support Cloudera Alters running on Amazon. And then the other thing we did was we are not supporting IBM Big Insight, which is already end of life from IBM. So if you are a IBM Big Insight customer, then please continue to be in our 10.2 version. Because starting 10.1, we will not support IBM Big Insight. And this is our Spark version and Java version scenario. So as you see in most of the distribution, we are on Spark 2.2, and in some of the distribution, especially in Cloudera, right now we are in Spark 2.1, and we do have plans to move to Spark 2.2 in the future. So that's an important thing to notice, that because for Spark 2.x from 2.2 we need Java 8. So please make sure that your Hadoop cluster is with Java 8 once you upgrade your cluster. Okay. So now coming back to the 10.1 release, right? What are the key themes we have done in this release? So like in our previous release, I think our main theme we have is we want to continue investing on Spark, and then we have done a lot of work around enterprise class data management, which means we have done a lot of work around how we are helping customers to go live with our product, and then also about artificial intelligence, right? So we have added some very innovative features to help customers to do AI, especially on the parsing side, and then we are also simplifying our install. So we have started the simplification of install from our 10.2 product, from our 10.2 release, and then we are continuing to improve on that. And then the next theme is on cloud, where we want to be the best in breed in both Amazon and Azure ecosystem. So, and this is a quick highlight on what are we doing in different themes, and I will be going into the details about each of these themes in my upcoming slides. So let's talk about the enterprise class data management, right? What are we doing in this area? So in enterprise class data management, we have added CCO, which is cluster configuration object, right? So this is a feature we introduced in our 10.2 release, and this was directly coming from the feedback from our customers that they are seeing our install is little complicated, and we were trying to install our binaries in a Hadoop cluster. So starting 10.2, we actually have a zero footprint on a Hadoop cluster, so you don't need to install any of our binaries or anything on Hadoop side. And then we also added this cluster configuration object, which helps you to do client configs, right, which helps you to improve your configuration on the client side. So in our 10.2 release, right, which is our upcoming release, what we have done is we have also made some of our other enhancement on this, right? So now we are actually prompting the default distribution, right? So for example, if you are a Cloudera, we will, since we are supporting 5.13 out of the box, there will be a default option selected over here. And then there will be a default for Hortonworks, which is 2.6. So that will help you not to, if there are like multiple versions of Cloudera we support in a single release, you will have an option to select whichever distribution you want, right? The other big thing we have done was in our, the feedback we got from customer is that we also have this Hadoop env.property files, which was stored in our servers install, right? And that was another thing which customers were saying that why I have to go into these property files to change any kind of class path or any kind of library path related things. So now what we have done is we have exposed most of these properties also in our Hadoop connection. So now you don't need to go to our Hadoop env.properties file. So these are all the things which help you to do any kind of config and install with Big Data Management, so you don't have to go and change any kind of files. So these are all things which are going to help us in our installation. So other big feature we have done in 10.2.1 is mass ingestion. So this was one other feedback we got from customer where they said, I have these hundreds and thousands of tables which are sitting on my relational system. How can I use Informatica Big Data Management to move this table in any kind of data lake, right? Whether it's Hive or HDFS or S3 or ADLS, right? So what we have done is we have created a very simple UI where you will be able to select whatever source you want, and then it will also create the target for you, and that will help you to move any kind of tables from your relational source into your data lake. And we will provide you a demo for this towards the end of the call, towards the in my demo section, so you can see that how easy it is now for you to do ingestion. So this is a brand new feature and a service which we have introduced in 10.2.1. This will help you to do mass ingestion to any kind of a data lake. Other features we have done is now starting 10.2.1, you are allowed to run a mapping directly without deploying from developer tools. So this was also a very common ask from our customers where they said, I want to run a mapping without I want to run a mapping without actually deploying it and without doing it through InfraCMD. So we have done that feature now. You are able to now run a mapping through developer tool using our parameter files and parameter set. And then the other improvement we have done on the install side is also to improve our client installation. So starting 10.2.1, since it's a big data only release, we have actually simplified our install even on the client side. So the footprint or the binary size of our client library is now very less compared to what it is in 10.2, because by default we have removed PC reuse binaries, and we have also removed some of our Hadoop binaries which are no longer needed. So if you want to use our Power Center reuse functionality, you will have, you can install it separately on our client, but by default it will not be shipped with our client tool. So this will help to reduce the footprint of our installer. And we have multiple engines. So Blaze is also one of our engines. So we are continuing to improve even our Blaze engine. So, and the main enhancement we have done on Blaze engine is now we can support variable length. So in 10.2 or in our previous releases, right, there were some issues where if you have, you need to provide the actual precision so that the right precision so that the Blaze works well in terms of memory and performance, right? So what we have done in this release is now automatically we are able to understand the right sorter and aggregator cache, and you don't have to actually go and tune your precision. All of these things can be done automatically by us. There are some other enhancements we have done on Blaze which are coming up with the truncate table and partition support, especially for some things around Hive on S3 and a blob. And then we also added a timeout property, right? So this is another feature which our customers were asking that, hey, if none of my jobs are running on a Hadoop cluster, please shut down the Blaze infrastructure services. So now with 10.2.1, you will also have a way of giving a timeout period, and then once the timeout period is reached, then we will be shutting down the Blaze infrastructure services. And then in order to continue improving our client install, we have also improved our metadata access thing. So in 10.2.1, right, you will not be needed even to install any kind of Kerberos client in your developer tool. So today, if you have to work on any kind of Kerberos-enabled Cloudera cluster or a Hortonworks cluster, you are required to install a Kerberos client or a Kerberos config in our client tools. So starting 10.2.1, you are no longer need to do that. So now all the metadata import, right, where we are importing the Hive metadata or H-based metadata, all of these things will be going through this metadata access service. So this is a new service we have introduced in 10.2.1, and you have to create this service in our admin console. And with that service, all our import functionality will go through this service rather than going directly to the Hadoop cluster. So this will improve your client install drastically. So think about a scenario where you have hundreds and thousands of client installs on your organizations. You don't have to install our client configs or Kerberos client in all of those developer tools. You only have to create one metadata access service, and we can redirect all the imports through this service. And then this is a very, so just like our mass ingestion feature, so this is our brand new feature we have introduced in our 10.2.1, which helps our customer to do ML-based parsing. So today, if you have to parse any kind of semi-structured file, whether it's XML, JSON, or even web logs, right, you have to use our B2B transformation, or you have to use the H-type, which we have introduced very recently in our product. So what we have done in 10.2.1 is we are now using machine learning-based parsing, which is powered by our Claire engine. So what we will do is we will allow you to use our intelligent structure discovery product, which is our cloud-based product. You are allowed to use this product to create a model of a semi-structured file and then use that model to run it within Big Data Management. And the best thing about this whole scenario is that now you don't have to write any kind of DT code to understand the logic. And then we also have this functionality available for different file formats, and then it also allows you to do to help you to support a schema or a structure or a data drift kind of a scenario. So say if your schema changes in your semi-structured file, or if your data format changes, your models automatically adjust to it, right? So this is the power of our Claire engine, and now starting 10.2.1, we are having this power in Big Data Management itself, and we will show you a quick demo of this in my demo section. We have also done some security enhancement in 10.2.1 release. So most important feature to note here is that we have added the Cloudera-based encryption support, which is the Navigator encryption. So in our current, before this, we only used to support Java-based encryption, Java-based KMS encryption, but now with 10.2.1, we are supporting Navigator encryption. And then if you are an EMR customer, EMR has introduced this new feature of supporting Kerberos. So the Big Data Management also supports Kerberos now. And then along with this, the other security enhancement we have done is we have also verified and certified our product against most of the HA services like NameNode, HS2, etc. And we have also done the thorough testing of this across all the engines. All right, so that was all about enterprise class data management, right? So there were a lot of things we are doing around there. So the quick recap of that is, remember our parsing functionality where we have added machine learning in parsing, and then also remember the mass ingestion where we are able to simplify our ingestion story, right? And then we have done a lot of work around security, and then also improved our the security aspect, plus we have also improved our installation. So now let's talk about how are we improving, or what all things we are doing in advanced Spark support. So in our Spark support, right, there were questions around how are we doing on like what are the different transformation we support on Spark. Can I get all of these transformations supported? Plus, there were also questions around Python, and can I operationalize my machine learning code or something? So these are the different things we have done on the Spark support. So a quick highlight around our Spark enhancement is that we are now supporting most of the DI, data integration transformation, which are available. So we added sequence generator, as well as we have introduced this new transformation called Python transformation, and I will talk more about this in my upcoming slide. Along with that, we have also added data quality transformations on Spark. So now, starting 10.2.1, you can run most of our data quality transformation in Spark mode. And then for the Spark side, we have also done more enhancement around connectivity support. So most of these connectors are available in Spark. And then there are other enhancements we have done mostly around stability and concurrency. So let's double click on data DI on Spark, right? Data integration on Spark. So as you see from 10.1.1 onwards, we have been adding many transformation in Spark. So in 10.1.1, we have added most of the common transformation which are available for DI. In 10.2, we added some of the missing transformations like lookup, normalizer, and rank, etc. But in 10.2.1, the only two things which were remaining for us for the DI was sequence gen and this Hive acid merge, right? So this is a new feature which Hortonworks provides, where you are allowed to use the update strategy on a Hive target, and that now can be done through acid merge, right? So this is also something we can support now. So as you see now, from 10.2.1, all of our DI transformations are available in Spark. A little bit more on what are we doing on Hive acid merge. So now we have added this new flag called Hive acid merge, which are available for the distribution which support ORC file format. And this will allow you to run our update strategy with Hive targets, and this will give you a better performance than what you were getting in our current releases. And then a quick details around Python transformation, right? So the Python transformation is another thing which came from our customer feedback. So a lot of customers were saying that, hey, I have this machine learning model which I have built from our previous, from our favorite ML tool like Cloudera Workbench or RapidMiner or any other machine learning tool. How can I use this model in my ETL pipeline, or how can I operationalize these models? So for this kind of a use case, we have added even a Python transformation in our product. So what this will do is that it will allow you to take any kind of trained model, and then you can put that within Big Data Management, within our data management pipeline, so that you are now able to operationalize these models. So this allows you to even put any kind of Python scripts, and this will support most of the Python versions as listed below, and this helps definitely in our data science use case. So I will also show you a quick demo of that, of this feature in my upcoming slide. And the edge type, right? So this is a functionality which we have introduced in 10.2. So in edge type also we have a map type support, which is a new data type support which we have introduced in 10.2.1. And then we also added Java transformation support in edge type. So now using Java transformation, you can use H-type functionality, and then there are different file formats also we have added as part of this release. Okay, so that was all we have done on Spark. So a quick summary of Spark is all the DI and DQ transformation is now available in Spark, and then there is a new category of Python transformation which allows you to do data science. So that is all, that's the main highlights on Spark. So now let's talk about our last theme, which is the cloud theme, right? Like how Informatica Big Data Management is helping you to move towards cloud. So in the cloud side, we have introduced this new functionality called auto deployment for AWS as well as HD Insight. So what it does is, if you are a EMR customer or a HD Insight customer, right, you want to have a way of taking any kind of a workload and then putting it in a dynamic scenario, right, where you are able to, where you want a functionality where you should be able to spin up a Hadoop cluster on demand, run your job, and then shut down the Hadoop cluster on demand. So this is a brand new feature which we have added in our product release, where now within our workflow, you will have an option to create any kind of a Hadoop cluster on demand. So you don't have to bring a Hadoop cluster to create any mapping. You can just put this create cluster task where we can create a cluster for you, and you have to just provide what is the number of nodes you need and which region you want us to create that cluster, etc. And then we will, based on that information you provide, we will be spinning up a cluster on demand when you are running this workflow. We will run all our mappings in this new cluster which we have created, and then we will shut down the cluster on demand, right? So this will help you tremendously in our when you move towards cloud. This will help you for reducing your operational cost, and in a way it is giving you some sort of serverless functionality where you don't have to manage a Hadoop cluster. It is automatically managed and spin up by Informatica. So this functionality is available for our EMR customers as well as for our HD Insight customers. So, and then the similar functionality is also available for our Cloudera customers who are using Cloudera Altus. So for Cloudera Altus, also you can have a similar workflow where you can spin up an Altus on demand, you can run your job, and then you can shut down the Altus after your processing is done. So we have written a very good blog on Cloudera website on how to do this, as well as there is a video for this. And the links of that, if you are interested in big data management integration with Altus, you should watch out of these two things, and I have provided the links of those two videos and the blog towards the end of my slide. And along with this functionality, we are also improving our connectivity. So Amazon S3 and Redshift is these two connectors are something we are continuing to improve on. So especially on S3, the key feature we have added is JSON and ORC file format support. So this was a new format which we have added in 10.2.1. And as I was showing you in my previous slides, that now we have this ML-based parsing, which helps you to take any kind of semi-structured file and parse it, create the model, and put it in Big Data Management. So this functionality is also available for S3 connector, as well as it is available for our HDFS connector, and also in our blob connector in Azure. We also are improving the Amazon Redshift, where we have also added the lookup support, the KMS integration support, etc., in our Redshift target. On the Azure side also, a lot of features are available in Azure side. So we are improving our SQL data warehouse connector. There is already a Azure blob connector, which is also available for our customers who are in 10.2 release. So if you are on 10.2 and you want Azure Blob to run on Spark and some of the other functionality, you can request for this EBF, which is available for our Blob connector, as well as this Cosmos DB, which is our new connector, which is available. So all of these things are now available. All of these new connectors are available even for our 10.2 customers, and this functionality will be also merged in our 10.2.1 as we release our 10.2.1 product. Okay, so a lot of things in last 30 minutes I talked about is all the different functionality and the different things we are doing on our 10.2.1 release, right? So now let's spend some time in telling maybe to understand how should we plan for upgrade. So if you want to use this functionality, what are the different things you have to look into while you are upgrading your environment to 10.2.1? So first of all, let me start by showing you this metrics. So in 2016 to 2018, right? If I just look at some of how many releases Cloudera has done, and I'm not counting the dot releases, the double dot releases which Cloudera does, right? So if you just count only the dot release, Cloudera from 5.4, it has now gone to 5.13. So it's almost 9 releases in 2 years, right? And if you look at Big Data Management, we also have the similar release cadence where we have also done lot of releases from 10.0 to 10.2.1. So we have almost close to 9 releases on par with the releases which Cloudera has. And the similar stat you will see even if I put a Hortonworks chart here, right? So if I put that into Informatica release cadence in a little more granular way, you will see that in last 24 months, we have done 9 releases. Out of the 9 releases, 6 of them were only big data release. So that means out of 9 releases, only 3 releases are the one where we have shared our release with Power Center and IDQ. But rest of the 6 releases were only big data only releases, which are like update releases, like Big Data 10.2.1 update or like 10.1.1 update, which are very big data management specific release. So in the last 24 years, Power Center has gone through 4 releases. So what this chart shows you is that there is a complexity involved when you are upgrading your environment. Especially if you have, so there are different things you have to keep into mind while you are upgrading, right? First of all, there are the upgrades are almost sometimes it's complex, right? It involves many applications. You need to work with multiple groups. And then every upgrade includes functional testings for both big data products and non-big data applications. So especially if you are a customer where you have put both Power Center or like non-big data products along with big data release, big data products, and if you are, and just to get this new functionality of big data, you may have to also upgrade your Power Center environment in our previous releases, right? So that also impacts production stability, and then it also gets costly at times, right? So these are the different challenges we have seen from our customers when they were planning for upgrade. So in order to simplify our upgrade process, right, and not forcing our non-big data customer to release at that rapid pace as we are seeing for our big data customers, now we have, starting 10.2.1, we have now done a release optimization. So this means is that there will be 2 trains. So there will be 1 train for big data customers, and then there is a second train for non-big data customers. So if you are a big data customer who wants to take the latest and the greatest of the features which Informatica is giving, or which Cloudera is coming up, or any other Hadoop distribution is coming up, you should be in the big data train, right? And what it means is that Informatica, you can keep a big data cluster separate, and then you can keep on upgrading only the big data environment to get the latest functionality coming in both Hadoop and Informatica products. So it is very much innovation focused. But if you also have an environment where you are only running PowerCenter and IDQ, you want more stability. So for those kind of environment, you can actually keep on so you don't have to upgrade it at the same time as you are upgrading our big data releases. So there is no dependency as such for our non-big data products like Hadoop clusters, etc. So that the upgrade of non-big data release is totally dependent upon if you need any fixes more than so that requires more stabilization fixes than the features. So it is very stability focused. So what we are recommending you is from 10 to 1. If you are so you should only upgrade 10 to 1 if you are a big data customer, and if you have PowerCenter also in your environment, you should plan to split your PowerCenter domain and big data domain, and keep your PowerCenter domain as it is in our 10.2 release, or in your whichever release is your PowerCenter or IDQ releases, and then only only upgrade your big data environment to 10.1 and onwards. And this will be our path going forward. You can read that the 2 KB articles I have provided in my link to understand more about this release process, etc. And we are here to help, right? So there are a lot of things we are doing to help you to move to 10 to 1. So first of all, we are also going to add N-1 and N-2 support for Cloudera and Hortonworks distribution. So this means is that although in our PAM you see us only supporting Cloudera 5.13, but in our upcoming, but after our 10 to 1 is released in next month or so, we will be adding Cloudera 5.12 and 5.11 support also in our big data management 10 to 1 release. So this means is that if you are in Cloudera 5.11 and you want to just take Informatica, if you want to just leverage, if you are only interested in leveraging these new features which are coming from Informatica Big Data Management 10 to 1, you can only upgrade the Informatica piece and you can keep the Hadoop cluster as it is. So this will allow you to only upgrade Informatica side without forcing yourself to upgrade even the Hadoop cluster side. The other thing we are doing is we are also, along with N-1 and N-2, we are also keeping ourselves updated in terms of the Hadoop versions we are supporting. So there was also a question in the PAM where somebody asked, like, when are we supporting 5.12 or 5.14? So we do have plans to support 5.14 as soon as the 10 to 1 release is out. So in next month or so, once the 10 to 1 is out, we will be even supporting the latest 5.14 feature, and then 5.15 is coming up from Cloudera. As soon as it is out, we will be even supporting 5.15 also. So like Cloudera, even if you are a Hortonworks customer or a MapR customer or any other distribution customer, we will be keeping ourselves updated with the release version which are coming out from these Hadoop distributions. And we also have this one-click refresh cluster configuration step, right? So if you have upgraded your Hadoop cluster, or if you have done any kind of changes in your Hadoop cluster, the only thing, and you have already created our cluster configuration object, the only thing you have to do is come here and just click a refresh in your CCO. And then what we will do is that we take the latest client config information from your client configure from your Hadoop cluster into our product. So this will help you for your one-click refresh as well. And we also have done the integration with Spark. So this will reduce the upgrade impact for you. So we have self-contained integration with Spark. So as you have seen from the different features I have said, is that we have also done, so you can run most of our transformation on Spark. So if you are already running our jobs in Hive on MapReduce in our Hive engine, you can now move those jobs even to the latest Spark engine. And then the last point to note is that we also allow our customers to upgrade from direct upgrade to 10-to-1 from any kind of big data management 10x. So if you are in Big Data BDM 10.1.1 or BDM 10.2 or any kind of our update release, you can have a direct path of upgrade to 10-to-1. So definitely we are helping and we are encouraging most of our customers to move to 10-to-1 as soon as it's out. Basically, this will help them to be more, first of all, to have a new big data train, as well as it will also help us to create migrate most of the jobs which you are running on our different engines onto Spark. All right, so let's move on to a live demo. So let me go do a quick demo of our release. So this is our big data management product, and let me start by first telling you how we have done the auto install. So as you see now here in this workflow, now we have added something called a create cluster task. So if I go, so this is the Informatica workflow. So in this demo, what I'm doing is I am actually spinning up a cluster on demand, and then I'll be shutting down the cluster on demand, and then in between this, I'm doing a bunch of work. So let's first see what is the create cluster task mean, right? So this is a workflow where your first step is create cluster task. So if I go into the advanced property here, so now as you see in our advanced property, we are now asking customers to provide us which version of EMR cluster they want us to start. And if you are a HD Insight or a Azure customer, you can go and change this to HDI version, and you can change this to ADLS. And then we ask you to provide us the instance name, whether it's M4 large or X large. All of these details you can provide here. And plus you can also provide the instance count, like you can say, I want to run 1 node or 3 nodes or whatever nodes. And what we will do is that based on whatever information you have provided, we will create the cluster automatically for you. So before you run this workflow, there is no cluster. While we run this workflow, there will be a new cluster which we will spin up on demand. So this will definitely help you in reducing your operational cost. So now let's move on to the next thing around mass ingestion. So this is a feature we talked about as I was introducing you to our enterprise class data management, right? So now let's see what we are doing in our mass ingestion functionality. So what we are doing in the mass ingestion functionality is, let me just move on to our new UI of mass ingestion. So this is our new service. So you have to go and create this new mass ingestion service in your admin console. So now what we have done was, just for a purpose of this demo, I've created this spec. So now let me just quickly show you a scenario where I'm just connecting to a relational system, and then I'm moving that relational data into Hive. So let me call this as a quick demo for mass ingestion, and I'm actually connecting to a relational. I'm selecting a scenario for relational to Hive. So after I have done this, now this UI is asking me to select my source connection. So now I can come here and I can select my source connection. So this is nothing but a scoop connection which I'm connecting to. And then after I've connected to the scoop connection, it is now showing me the list of all the schemas which are available here. And let me come and just select the demo for this particular use case, right? So as soon as you select your schema, now it is showing you all the tables which are available in this particular schema. So now I can come and I can say I want to move all these things, these 4 tables like case, license, and payment, these 4 tables into my lake. And I'm only selecting 4 tables, but similarly you can use this format to select hundreds and thousands of tables based on your use case. So once you have selected these tables, so now we are also asking you where you want us to create your target, right? So now you have selected your source where you have said, okay, these are my relational source. Now I want to go and select my target. So as I said in my target, I can connect to any kind of Hive target or S3 target or ADLS target. So for this demo, I'm showing you a Hive target, which is sitting on EMR cluster. So that is Hive on S3. So now I have selected this, my EMR, so my Hive connection here, and then I can also provide any kind of schema I want. And then the other thing to note here is that even if you don't have a Hive target to start with, we will auto-create the Hive target for you. So that means you no longer needed to have even the Hive target created before the ingestion step. So what we can do is that based on the incoming source schema, source table which you have selected, we can understand your schema, and then we will be able to create the target for you. As part of this ingestion, we can also allow you to do any kind of transformation. So if you want to do any transformations like filtering or doing altrim or replace a column, all of these things can be allowed while you are doing the ingestion itself. So as you see, it's a very simple steps, a step-by-step wizard which allows you to take any kind of relational files, relational tables, and you can move them at the mass scale to a Hadoop cluster. So and this at this level here, we also allow you to change any kind of default file formats, or if you're creating a Hive table and you want to say that, okay, for this particular table I want to change a file format, you can do that as well. So after it is done, now you are ready to, so now you have just created your spec, and now what you are doing is you can just say that I want to run this in this Hadoop connection, which is my AWS Hadoop connection, and I want to run this spec in my this DIS. So what we are doing is under the covers, this whole mass ingestion spec is using our dynamic mapping functionality, and then you can just deploy this and it will run. So what this is doing, what we have done is we have just created a simple spec where I have selected 4 tables, and I said, okay, go and auto create my Hive table and then just run this on a DIS. So without even going to developer tool, now I'm able to even do ingestion very simply just by using that wizard. So that's how simple it is to use our mass ingestion in our 10.2.1. So now let me show you our next big innovation, which is our Informatica structure model discovery, right? Where I was showing you, I was telling you about our how we have added our ML-based parsing functionality in our product. So now let's take this example. So in this example, what I'm doing is I'm just taking a phone home data which I get from customers, and it is just for us to see how our product is being used. So most of the time, the phone home data is coming in a JSON format. So now let me just show you how we can go to Atlantic and do that, right? So now what I'm done is I've actually logged into our Informatica structure model. So this is a cloud service which will be now available as part of Big Data Management. So now what you will do is that from this service, I'm just selecting my phone home data, which is the sample JSON file I want to use. And after that, I can just do discovery structure. So what I'm doing is now it is actually doing discovery. So from this complicated JSON, it has now given me this pictorial format of this JSON file. So you see how we have taken a very complicated JSON and then created a structure out of it, right? So what we have done is we have used a genetic and NLP-based algorithm under the covers to come up with a model like this. And then from here, I can go and select whatever things I want. Like say, out of this big JSON file, I'm only interested in selecting few of them, right? So I can go and select them, and then I can see them in XML format, and then I can also see these things in a relational format as well, right? So you will have ways to see this complicated XML or JSON file in any format you want. And then once you are once you are happy with this whole model, you can save this model. Like say, let me save it with the BDM thing, and then I can export this model, like this model here, and then this model is already exported, and then I can put it back into Big Data Management. So now within Big Data Management, as you see here, now we have added something called Informatica Structure Model, and you can once you select this, you can actually go and select that model to the model you have created from Informatica Structure Discovery to this, right? So what we are doing here is that using our ML-based parsing, we are taking any kind of semi-structured file, whether it is XML, JSON, PDF, or even the log files, right, the web log files, and then we are parsing it, creating the model in in Informatica Structure Discovery, and then putting it in BDM. So this will help you a lot in your parsing use case, so you don't have to create any kind of data transformation, DT code to parse it. And the other advantage of this is that tomorrow if your schema changes, so say from in that particular JSON file you have added a new column, or you have moved your column around, or if your date format changes, this model is self-adjusting. So you are even getting this whole functionality schema, and it is also available for your schema drift or scenario as well. So now the last thing I wanted to show you was the Python transformation. So as I was showing you that we have now added a Python transformation and other functionality which can run on Spark. So now let me quickly show you a use case for that, right? So what I'm doing as part of this use case is I'm taking a machine learning code which I have built using RapidMiner. So what that code is doing is it is just predicting the case where it is just figuring out based on the incoming rows, well, what is the health of a customer, whether it's happy, or they're escalated, or they are not happy. So I have already done some of the training of the model. So for example, this is the model we have written, and now with that now using this model, I can now put that model file here in resources, and I can write any kind of code to just operationalize this model in my ETL flow, right? So now using Big Data Management, you can even do data science where you can take any kind of machine learning model and operationalize that within BDM. So these are the different things I wanted to show you in my demo. So quick recap was we talked about how we are able to start the cluster on demand for you, which is our auto deployment feature. I showed you our mass ingestion feature where we can take any kind of relational tables and move it very easily in Hadoop or any kind of data lake. We talked about ML-based parsing, which is our CLAIRE-based parsing. And then we also talked about how we can take ML code and put it in BDM. So now let me go back to my presentation, and let me just conclude showing you some resources. So these are a few resources I want you guys to check. So if you have missed my last webinar, which is on 10.2 webinar, you can go and see that. There are some other videos and blog links which you can use. Okay, so other thing is you guys have seen some of the announcement from our side. So Informatica World is coming up from May 21st and 24th. So whatever I have showed you just now is just a quick prelim of what you will see actually in Informatica World. So we have a lot of things planned for Informatica World, especially there are a lot of new roundtables, deep dives. There are many customer sessions where you can actually see, you can hear from our customer directly that how they are using our Big Data Management. So please, if you haven't done before, please register for our Informatica World, and I'll be there. There will be a lot of keynote sessions, so you will learn a lot on Informatica World. So please, if you are coming to Informatica World, please come to our roundtables, our deep dives. Especially, there is a very limited seats which are available for deep dives. So what we are doing in Informatica World is that we are actually giving the product to you to try out our product, right? So that means that mass injection functionality I showed you, that functionality will be given to you, and you can play around with this and with our experts. Our experts will be there in the room, and that they will help you to give you the first-hand look of some of these features, right? So you are going to get the direct training from us. So take a moment and see if you can register for Informatica World 2018 at Vegas. The other new announcement I want to make is this new functionality, which is a very exciting functionality which our customer support team has built, which is called screen recording functionality. So a lot of times when you open a support case, we ask you to come for a WebEx, and sometimes it becomes difficult to come on a WebEx because of your time schedules, etc. Right? So now what we have done is we have actually introduced this new screen recording feature, which you can download from this link here. And what this allows you to do is that you can just record your actual problems. So whatever problem you are facing, you can actually record them, and you can attach that in the support case itself. So this will definitely reduce both of your time as well as our time to troubleshoot this problem. So we have a lot of our customers have already tried it. So we have also introduced some of the codes from different customers we have seen. So most of the customers love this functionality, right? So this actually saves time from both the sides. So I'll encourage you guys to please take a look at this and see if you can use it. And yeah, and I'd like to again thank you for taking time to join me for this webinar. We also will send you a survey thing, so you please take a moment to give us a survey because based on your survey, we can decide whether these sessions are helpful or not, whether you want to see more of these webinar sessions where we can talk about different new topics. So please take a moment to also give us feedback on our survey, how are we doing. So that also is going to be a great help. So now let me take some of the questions which are coming up in the chat. So there are a lot of questions which are coming up here is related to license, where many people are asking that do we need any new license key to get some of these new functionality. So as you see, most of the 10.2.1 features are mostly an add-on feature for big data management. So if you guys have already licensed for a big data management or big data BDQ license, then most of these functionality will be available for you as part of that license bid. So you don't have to get any new license.
Presentation mode is now disabled. Presentation mode is now enabled.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about any kind of license key for getting these new features. So now let's take some of the other questions which are coming up. So one of the other question was when we will support 5.14. So as I have mentioned in my presentation, 5.14 will be supported as soon as we release 10.2.1, maybe in a month or two time frame. The other question is, let me see if there is any more questions. Most of the questions we have tried to already answer in the chat. So there is one more question is, can mass ingestion functionality can ingest to Azure Blob? Yes, we can. We can support even moving this mass ingestion functionality. You can actually use Blob. So you can actually use our Hive connector, and you can use Blob as your underlying storage. And the same thing can be also applied even for our ADLS stuff as well. Other question is, can you tag EMR cluster when it's spin up? Yes, we also support tagging functionality in our auto deployment. So you can actually have tags which helps you to do any kind of tagging as well. So other question is, do we support any kind of file formats while you are creating your mass ingestion spec, right? So we will allow you to create, to specify a mass ingestion spec, and we will also, you can also select whether it's ORC file format, Parquet, or any other file format of your choice. So that's also one new thing. You should know that you can actually create set any kind of file format. So one last question I can take is go up. Most of them are license related. Yeah. So one other question is around lineage side. So yes. So if you are using our enterprise data catalog product, right? So you can actually take You can actually see all the things we are doing and on big data management. All of this can be available. You can track all the lineage. Even for our dynamic mapping functionality, that lineage can be tracked in our EDC product, which is our Enterprise Data Catalog product. Okay, so we are on the top of the hour, so I'd like to thank you again for participating in this webinar. We will send you the recording and the survey shortly, so please take a moment to give us feedback whether you like this kind of sessions or not, and please rate us in the webinar. Thank you so much for your time.